If there had to be epic cruelty on full display this brutal winter, it's happening just 200 kilometers from where I'm speaking to you from. Riot victims of Muzaffarnagar lie shivering and dying in camps, especially children. They've lost loved ones, they've lost limbs, they have no idea whatsoever when life will even begin to be normal again. They've suffered the insults of Mulayam Singh Yadav, who calls them political imposters. This morning they suffered the outrageous suggestion of UP's Home Secretary, who said nobody ever dies of cold. And late this evening, things spiraled completely out of control as Akhilesh Yadav, in all his merciless glory, sent a phalanx of bulldozers to clear out parts of those camps. I wish I was making this up. I'm not. Watch this report.
Even as children and the sick fall prey to sickness and the cold weather in Muzaffarnagar's relief camps, the Samajwadi Party netas are shamelessly splurging and feasting in Mulayam Singh Yadav's hometown in Saifai during the 15-day gala event. Officially, 15 lakh rupees have been earmarked for the star-studded extravaganza in the state supplementary budget. Mulayam Singh and company insist these children of Muzaffarnagar do not need any relief and the occupants are all political opponents. No one is dying of cold either, as the state principal secretary enlightened the nation.
जो हमारे पास रिपोर्टेड हैं 2-3 केसेस 4 केसेस ऐसे हैं जिसमें उन्होंने निमोनिया बताया है। ठंड से मरा कोई नहीं बताया है। ठंड से कभी मरता कोई नहीं। अगर ठंड से मरते तो साइबेरिया में कोई ना बचता।
उनका बयान बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है एंड इट ब्रिंग्स बैड नेम टू यूपी गवर्नमेंट। ये उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार को बदनाम और कलंकित करने वाला बयान है।
It is really regrettable that a senior officer like this can take such a serious issue of the death of children in this light manner.
I think they have lost their mental equilibrium for a simple reason that they come out with very strange statements.
But despite the outrage, if one expected the Chief Minister to admonish his team as to why the riot hit did not have access to proper medical care or warm clothes to avoid pneumonia, well, he proved everyone wrong. He actually instructed his team to learn how to brief the media in a politically correct manner.
कई बार सवाल जवाब में बातचीत में जो भाषा बदल जाती है, मैं समझता हूँ उन लोगों को अपनी भाषा पे नियंत्रण रखना चाहिए और हम लोग भी कोशिश करते हैं क्योंकि आजकल कैमरा और टीवी का ज़माना है तो कोई बात निकलेगी वो रिकॉर्ड हो जाएगी और उसके बाद हमारे हाथ में नहीं है.
And so bulldozers arrived in Muzaffarnagar to raise the relief camps and throw out the riot hit to the mercy of the biting cold and diseases.
और कितने लोग आए बोल लगभग मशीन आएगी यहाँ से मट्टी उठ रही है वहाँ गिरेगी और यहाँ से झुक के उठाओ फिर कहाँ जाएंगे यही रहेंगे जी फिर जी मट्टी उठा लेंगे फिर यही लाएंगे गिरूंगा इतना मुझे पैसा नहीं मिले थे ना यही रहा सरकारी जमीन में ही.
So is this your party's idea of Samajwad, Mr. Mulayam Singh?
It's unfortunate that those staying in the camps do not have the gas and means withhold to survive, and this is blame squarely goes to the government of Uttar Pradesh.
The secretary who has made this kind of a statement, my only one request to him, let along with his family go there in the Muzaffarnagar in the camps, at least with his family, stay there for a night, then he will understand how the people die in Muzaffarnagar and why the people do not die in Siberia.
People in the relief camps are absolutely shattered at this decision of the state government. They've already had their lives torn apart by violence in the preceding months. Till now, they lived as refugees in these relief camps. Now, they'll be forced to live as beggars in their own homeland. Is this the transformation that people lauded young Akhilesh for? With Sandeep Saini in Muzaffarnagar and Harish Kantpal, this is AMIR in Lucknow for Headlines Today.
And joining us this evening to discuss this outrage here on Newsnight, I have with us KAMAL, former leader of the Samajwadi Party here in our studios. COLIN Gonsalves, senior lawyer with the Supreme Court, also founder of the Human Rights Law Network. Zakia Soman is national spokesperson with the Congress, and also joining us live from Ahmedabad, Zakia Soman, head Peace and Justice of ActionAid India. She recently visited the Muzaffarnagar camps and she has first-hand details of what existence there is really like. KAMAL, I'm going to come to you in just a moment. I want to to get a live input first from my colleague AMIR who joins me live from Lucknow. AMIR, complete arrogance being on full display by father and son, Mulayam Singh Yadav and Akhilesh Yadav, simply refusing to step back and look at this with greater sensitivity. And if it wasn't just words, they actually sent bulldozers in to some of those camps today.
Well, Shiv, obviously the Samajwadi Party government here, thinks perhaps that they've had enough of these relief camps and enough of these riot victims. They've been trying to support them over the last 3 months, but somehow it has only invited criticism their way. And now, since they're also focused towards 2014, they're looking forward for the coming elections. They are, consistently seeing their grounds, being depleted all over the place. So definitely, it seems they've decided. And today in the evening, in fact, Chief Secretary of UP conducted a press conference where he said two very important things. One, that most of these relief camps are standing on government land. Where he said, one of these camps in Loi, yes, where these temporary hutments were raised down, they belong to the horticulture department, and the other one also belonged to some other department of the government. So they said, also they added that there were people who were wrongfully trying to claim double time the compensation being offered by the state government.
Yes.
So obviously the government is trying to make a basis, they are trying to make a ground so that these people can be vacated from there, at least shifted from the place where they are in the media glare, and therefore inviting criticism towards the government.
So they're laying the ground for a full-fledged evacuation and, dismantling of all of those camps there. Political insensitivity and cruelty at its worst. Kamal Farooqui, until not very long ago, part of the Samajwadi Party, but heaving a sigh of relief that he isn't part of an administration or a party that has under its watch allowed something like this to happen. Kamal Farooqui, I'm sure you've been tracking very closely not just the words that have been spoken by Mulayam Singh Yadav and Akhilesh Yadav, but also the things that they've actually ordered in some of those camps. The UP Home Secretary's words, the complete lack of action, against the insensitive things being said about the people suffering and dying in those camps. What are you thinking right now about what's going on?
I'm really shocked. I'm really shocked. I had never thought in my wildest imagination that Mr. Mulayam Singh ji and the government under Mr. Akhilesh Yadav would behave in such a careless, inhuman manner. In fact, one day or the other, they are making all kind of statement which is hurting the entire nation like anything. And mind it that their own chief secretary has recently said, just about a week ago, that more than 4,563 people are still in the camps. Though even this figure is not correct according to our estimation, because there are more people than that. Then they were saying that nobody has died. Today itself there is a report from the government department itself that yes, people have died, but it will not be more, children have died, but not more than 12 children. And now today we have got that secretary. I do not know what kind of man is he. Yes. Has he got any hurt in him or not? He's trying to compare it with Siberia, and he's making these kind of a statement that ultimately nobody has died with the no child has been died with the cold, rather it's pneumonia. Ask that man, has he got any sense? Yes. Pneumonia, how does it come? Pneumonia, is it comes just like this, or it is because of the cold wave? All these things put together, and the kind of a statement which right from the top to the bottom, all those kind of politicians and the bureaucracy, all those people are making. And sir, this is for those people who, and I'm not talking on Hindu-Muslim basis, I'm talking purely on from the political point of view also. These are the people who are their backbone. Still recently, they were the supporters, and Mr. Mulayam Singh has said that 100% of those people have supported.
Completely abandoned.
So that is what actually, this is the price they are getting. And this is the price which a normal human being, an Indian would get. And I really fail to understand when they say that these people are not the real victims, rather they are the BJP and Congress people over there. Just 1 second more, that they are saying like this. Can you tell me any mother would be taking their children to such a place where he is bound to die?
That's
because
true.
Children are Children are afraid even to
and
go
our
inside the
reporters
camps.
have been there. The pictures that we're bringing to you
They're
are
afraid
taken
even
by
go
our
to this.
cameras in those camps to show you just what it's like. Nobody would be in those camps unless they had no other choice. C.R. Keshavan, I'd like to bring you in right now. Do you see a pattern in the things being said by the Samajwadi Party leadership and the things that they're actually doing in those camps right now? You've heard everything being said. Do you see a pattern here?
Shiv, first I see a pattern of tyranny. First I see a pattern of double standards, and I see a pattern of indifference and neglect. First thing I want to point out here is, when they started off, any bureaucrat, today you heard the, ridiculous and, utterly preposterous statement, of Mr. A.K. Gupta. Where does this trickle down from? It is very clear that the political establishment's attitude and approach is reflected by the bureaucrat here when he talked about Siberia and his, preposterous comment. Most importantly, what the Samajwadi Party is doing is a very classic case of running with the hares and hunting with the hounds. And let me make a point about their, hypocrisy and double standard here. These people, have, utterly gone and today the bulldozer, the morning Mr. Akhilesh Yadav made a statement saying you have to show restraint. But what has happened here? But I want to raise one moot point which is very important to everybody here. Let us take the case of a senior sports director, Shailendra Kumar Singh, who was suspended very recently.
We're going to come to that issue in just a bit.
A moot point. I want to raise that. And he was suspended because he didn't do the swimming pool. And the Samajwadi Party accused all the other parties here, we should rally for the people and the children there. They said everybody is playing politics here. Let me just point out one thing. They said Shailendra Kumar Singh was very close to the DSP dispensation.
That's right. That's what they said.
SP denies it, saying that no, it was because of his nonchalance and inefficiency. If that is the case, why have they not suspended A.K. Gupta today?
Keshav, I'll pause you there for a moment because we have a full story on that particular, the swimming pool issue in Saifai. In fact, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to get that question to you. But I want to bring in Zakia as well as Colin Gonsalves. Mr. Gonsalves, to you first, sir. Between the political voices being raised about what's happening in Uttar Pradesh with Mulayam Singh Yadav and Akhilesh Yadav leading this sort of tyrannical crackdown on the completely helpless people in those refugee camps, what is how are you looking at this, and what do you think can be done? What can what can the government at the center and elsewhere, what can they do about this? Is there any kind of intervention that's possible at this time, sir?
Well, I've followed communal riots from the 1992 Bombay riots to the Gujarat riots, the Sikh riots and so on. But I think Akhilesh Yadav and Mulayam Yadav have raised the level of cruelty to an unbelievable level.
Absolutely right.
You can never have a situation where children die in the cold and the government would cover up for such an act or demolish these shelters and so on. And our people are out there in Muzaffarnagar at the moment, and we are documenting untold misery of the people in that area. Apart from this, I must tell you that many of the persons named as accused persons in the FIRs, including rapists, they are roaming free today.
That's true.
Many of those who were covered on your channel giving hate speech, making the most virulent hate speech, they were arrested and released on bail almost immediately.
Excellent point, yes.
So I would say that this is the most cruel situation, and what can be done is, we have filed a case in the Supreme Court, and we are asking the Supreme Court for two important prayers, and I really hope that they will be granted. One, that this whole issue of rehabilitation should be taken out of the hands of the UP administration and given to an independent agency to monitor and control, such as the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. And second, that criminal prosecution, because the Akhilesh government is not going to prosecute its own people.
Absolutely.
Criminal prosecution should be done by a special investigation team of police officers from outside the state of Uttar Pradesh. If that happens, I think the Akhilesh government will get a real jolt, which is what they deserve.
I want to get a quick reaction from Zakia Soman on this as well. Zakia, I understand that you've had a chance to visit some of those camps recently. What do you think? What's your reaction to what's going on there right now?
I would just say, it's not just a visit. It has been many visits.
Yes.
And we are working there very actively along with some other groups. The central issue today is that there is a huge humanitarian crisis, and there is precious little that is being done by the state government,
absolutely,
as well as central government or any other government. it's a shame that just 4-5 hours drive away from Delhi, people who are affected by the riots,
yes,
women, children, old people, they are all living with certain basic needs are not being fulfilled.
Yes,
there's a shortage of food, there are no doctors, there are no medicines, there's no drinking water,
absolutely. In
there
fact,
are no toilets.
like Mr. Farooqui just pointed out, nobody would be in those camps, out of choice. They're there because they have absolutely no choice. I take your point, Zakia. I just want to come to another point right now that Keshavan had just raised, and it's part 2 of the story that we're bringing to you tonight. You remember the brazen victimization of IAS officer Durga Shakti Nagpal? Well, the victimization of state bureaucrats actually continues. This time it's an officer who has dared to go slow in the building of a swimming pool in Mulayam Singh's native Saifi.
After Durga Shakti Nagpal, now there is furor over the suspension of another IAS officer by the UP government. IAS officer Shailesh Singh retires next month and has been suspended for causing delay in the construction of a swimming pool complex in Mulayam Singh Yadav's native village of Saifi. Shailesh Singh is a senior bureaucrat who has been suspended for 2 months. Now questions are being raised over whether his suspension has anything to do with his proximity to BSP leaders.
इसके पहले भी एक आईएएस को हम लोगों ने सस्पेंड किया था, तब भी मीडिया ने बड़ा हाईलाइट किया था, जबकि वो आईएएस अधिकारी ने कोई आपत्ति नहीं। मैं नहीं समझ पाता हूँ कि जब कोई आपत्ति नहीं करता तो मीडिया क्यों तीसरी टांग बन जाता है, क्यों आपत्ति करने लगता है? जिसको दुख हो वो आपत्ति करे तो समझ भी आता है। आईएएस अधिकारी या अन्य अधिकारियों का तबादला रूटीन प्रक्रिया हो।
Shailesh Singh was found guilty of irregularities and gross negligence. He allegedly held back payments to government and private agencies that led to delays in the construction of the complex housing the world-class all-weather pool. While it is no surprise that Shailesh Singh has chosen silence, a storm has now broken out over bureaucrats being hounded in Akhilesh Pradesh.
So it's unfortunate that rather than looking into affairs which directly hit the common man, they are going ahead for these various projects which definitely don't make a difference to the people.
ये पब्लिक मनी का दुरुपयोग है ना, और अगर कोई ऑफिसर ने उस पर सवाल उठाया तो उसको आप तबादला कर दीजिएगा या सस्पेंड कर दीजिएगा। इसी को कहते हैं, जैसे कि हमने कहा ना, इसी को कहते हैं कुप्रशासन।
It is the same Saifi where they have built a huge airport with public resources which they are utilizing themselves. They have also built a lion safari. This is a very old feudal attitude.
But the bureaucracy has done a great injustice to the Saifi, because the all-season swimming pool, it's a must. That is another thing, that the people are dying in cold some 300 kilometers away from Saifi.
Well, we've seen what happened in the case of suspended IAS officer Durga Shakti Nagpal. Well, Shailesh Kumar Singh's colleagues are comparing his suspension with the suspension of Durga Shakti because they say there have been plentiful of cases where government officers have been found guilty of dereliction of duty, but none of these officers had to face such strict action from the state government. But because in this case the construction work, the job that at hand that Shailesh Kumar Singh had pertained to Chief Minister's native village, and therefore such strict action, such unwarranted action has been taken against him. Well, as far as Shailesh Kumar Singh is concerned, he did speak to us over the phone. He is obviously disappointed at the decision of the state government. He is due to retire in late January, but he says, he will have to follow through and go through the entire procedure before perhaps the state government chooses to revoke his suspension. With camera person Harish Kanpal, this is AMIR in Lucknow for Headlines Today.
Kamal Farooqui, like you pointed out in that story to our reporter, this paints a very clear picture of what the priorities of the Akhilesh Yadav government really are. It's not the dying, and the injured people in those camps, dying of the cold. It's a swimming pool. It's a swimming pool in Saifi. Mr.
Look at the apathy. Look at. I do not know where their heart has gone. We are seeing in Saifi lot of celebrations and as if it's a must that these kind of functions should be there, and a person who is being suspended for not doing performing the job properly, building the all season swimming pool, and they are not doing anything for the people who are dying over there. And over and above that, Mr. Akhilesh Singh has sent the bulldozer over there.
Yes.
I do not know. And one of the MP who is just making the comment, they have forgotten the role of the media, in fact.
Completely.
But for media, otherwise you would have destroyed the whole Uttar Pradesh in this country.
That's right.
But for media, you are being caught like this. I want them that instead of blaming the media, they should put their house in order. Otherwise, the nation will not leave them and the people will teach them a lesson.
Colin Gonsalves, I'd like to leave the last word with you. We're completely out of time on this discussion. But in this atmosphere, Mr. Gonsalves, of a great deal of scrutiny that politicians and their decisions are under, doesn't what's happening in UP right now, tell you really about how, at the end of the day, a great part of this political class doesn't give a damn. They will continue to do what they love to do. There is hubris that can never be disentangled from the everyday, rule of some of these parties. That's what we're seeing right now. Complete brazenness, complete arrogance, and complete hubris of priorities. Mr. Gonsalves.
Yes, yes, very much. You put it very well. When Akhilesh came to power, people asked me, is this a new generation? Is this a new breed of politicians? And now looking back, I would say, it's worse than before.
Yeah.
We never thought you could have a situation worse than the older politicians, but now it's worse than before. Can you imagine? You can't give blankets to babies in winter.
Right.
48 babies. You can't give food and drinking water to the persons in the camps. And you want an all-weather swimming pool.
Yes.
I think we should tell Akhilesh and Mulayam to take a swim in their village talab and forget this idea about having a swimming pool. Look after your people first. Look after the poor people. Look after the victims of the riot first, instead of all these luxury items that you crave for.
Yes. I think a phrase that Colin Gonsalves used tonight on Newsnight can be used aptly to describe what's happening in Uttar Pradesh. Unbelievable cruelty that people didn't think was possible. It's almost epic, the kind of merciless treatment being meted out by the rulers to the ruled in Uttar Pradesh. That's all we have time for on this particular debate number 1 on Newsnight tonight. Thank you very much, Kamal Farooqui, Colin Gonsalves, C.R. Keshavan and Zakia Soman for joining us on this discussion. We're slipping into a very quick break. On the other side, gang raped, then left to die. Puducherry's shame is coming up. And of course, what story is ever complete without a politician adding his merciless 2 bits to the entire story? That's coming up next on Newsnight.